Hi, it's Chris, and I've been an enthusiast home barista who's been making coffee-centric videos here on YouTube for the past 4 years. In this video, I'm going to be unboxing and sharing my first impressions of the Fellow Aiden, a new $365 premium coffee brewer from Fellow that packs a lot of interesting features. Now, I first got to check this thing out in person at the SCA Expo in Chicago last April, and have been keeping an eye out for this product's launch ever since. Now, I will note that it seems myself and a few other more long-form review-focused creators received our units quite late compared to the YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok crowd that, let's be real, we'll never say anything negative about a product. I get it, Fellow wouldn't want any negatives or critiques about this machine early into its product lifecycle, but does that mean that they have something to hide here? I don't know. And over the course of the next few weeks, I'll be thoroughly testing this unit with a follow-up full review, so be sure to subscribe to get notified of when that drops. Now, while this unit was sent to me by Fellow, they have no say of what goes into this video, I have no agreement with them, and all thoughts and opinions remain my own. And with that being said, let's first start with the unboxing. Firstly, the box right away is a classic brown Fellow packaging that actually has this pretty cool locking feature that I've never seen on a box before. Once that is unlocked and removed, the main box portion lifts straight up and revealing the Aiden itself, along with an accessories box with the classic warranty, safety, startup guides, and a few single-serve filter papers. There are also filter papers for batch brew included. Now let's move on to the Aiden itself. It's a relatively small machine. Here it is next to my Mocha Master. And right away, my first impressions with the build quality are fairly similar to what I remember at the SCA Expo, and its machine is just a lot of plastic. Again, there's nothing bad about plastic on its own if incorporated correctly, but compared to something like the Mocha Master, which has a metal body and frame, and even comparing to the Breville Oracle Jet I just received, which has a lot of plastic components, the overall build does leave a little to be desired. You have a full-color LCD display controlled with the standard Fellow knob that you can find on their Stag kettles that controls this display. Behind that, there is a 1.5-liter water tank, which is fully removable, which is great for cleaning and refilling. On the right side of the machine, there's a 1.5-liter dual-walled stainless steel carafe, and something to note is that the lid and handle here are plastic. Now moving on to the interesting bit here is the actual brew chamber that includes a single-serve basket and a batch brew basket, depending on how much coffee you want to brew. I will say that the hinge mechanism used to open and close the brew chamber is incredibly satisfying, and it has this unique, almost snapping feature when it reaches fully open or closed that has an oddly nice weight to it. Now, aesthetically speaking, it's a black box. There's not a ton to say about it. Either you like it and it kind of fits your aesthetic or kitchen environment, or you don't. I do think there are other colors in the works, and personally, I'm hoping for a matte white version. Now, there are already a few nitpicks here and there I've noticed that I'm going to save for the full review once I have a little bit more time to test this machine thoroughly, so again, be sure to be subscribed to get notified of when that drops. And that mostly rounds out the unboxing portion, so let's move over to my first use of the Fellow Aiden. Okay, so using the Aiden for the first time, typically you would follow a setup routine, which yes, involves connecting yet another device to Wi-Fi, also with the use of a third-party Aiden app, which quite frankly is not great at the moment, but this is something I'm also going to focus on in my much more detailed full review. I did not have to run through the standard first setup procedure with this machine, because this unit did come with a bag of beans roasted by Prodigal, which is dialed in on the Aiden. However, there is no reference for grind size, which I think they could add. I have tried to adjust my grind size from the 3-ish brews I've done so far on the machine to more or less match the drawdown time listed on the display, which is only something you would know once the brew is in progress, and I do have to say that I was extremely impressed by the quality of the brew. It matched just about as good as I'd expect with my EG1 being the grinder and a pour over by hand, but done with the machine instead. Following the brew and seeing the different steps that went into producing the final cup was very cool to see, and I'd imagine if roasters are able to provide recipes for their beans that you can consistently get great cups given that your grinder is good and water source is also good. First impressions here are good. This machine heats up fast and even displays a countdown as to when your brew will be done, and shows you the steps the machine takes to get to that final cup. The build is definitely something I'm going to nitpick a little bit more in the full review, but generally speaking, this has been an excellent performing brewer in the 3 runs I've done so far. Almost like an X-Bloom without the built-in grinder and the capability for both single serve and batch. And honestly, with a company like Fellow behind it, I'm trusting it a little bit more than I would with X-Bloom for longevity in mind. But as usual with unboxing and first impressions, my final thoughts and more details are to come in a full review in a few weeks' time. So be sure to let me know if you have any questions about this in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please drop a like and consider subscribing, as that would greatly help the channel, and I will see you in the next one.